Hey, what's up you guys, Joe to the 12th here. I want to try something a bit different. If you guys didn't know, I watch a guy named Mr. Nightmare whenever he uploads. So, what I decided is, I know the lighting is shit right now, but just bear with me. So what I decided is he just uploaded a new video, but I'm going to be reacting to it. I know you guys are going to probably dislike the video because of it. I know I'm not a reaction channel. I mean, I figured I want to try something a bit different from gaming and update videos and everything. So I decided, you know what, let me give this a shot. So to avoid copyright reasons, I'm going to not show the actual video. I'm going to play the audio so you guys can hear it too. So there's 4 stories, but I'm probably only going to do 2. So right now I'm on the second of 4. So hope you guys enjoy.
I went to Binghamton University for 2 years. I quickly made a big group of friends there, and we'd go out every weekend. One weekend on a Friday night in October, when my group didn't have any big plans together, me and 2 other close friends decided to hang out in the school nature preserve by the lake. There was this little clearing on the far side of the lake that was convenient for fires. Since it was so far from view of the school or campus security, kids would sometimes, but not often, come here to smoke pot, drink, and do basically all the other drugs.
I knew he was going to say that.
It was a relatively unknown spot on campus by most, and we liked that about it. Tonight we just brought a bunch of beers, lit a fire, and hung out, having what we referred to at the time as a bro chat. As the night progressed, time seemed to pass quicker as the alcohol began to take effect. Eventually it got to the point where we were all laughing so hard that one of my 2 friends was on the floor rolling in the leaves. That was when my other friend stopped laughing and went, shh. We all perked up and listened, and heard the crunching of leaves and branches in the distance. We threw our bottles in the lake since we were all under 21, and it wasn't unheard of for campus police to come through the woods on weekends to catch kids doing drugs. We tucked the rest of the beers into a backpack. I was moderately drunk, so my paranoia was higher than usual. That was probably the case for all of us.
Probably drunk.
The fire exposed us to anyone passing through the woods. But the thing is, this spot was so unknown and far from campus that it was rare to find anybody else that deep into the woods. It sounded like just one person in the distance. The sound of a tree branch snapping not too far away.
Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna stop, but let me say something. If I was in his shoes and I had my other friends with me, I don't care if we have a car or anything. Either one, get a weapon, anything, a branch, whatever. Something that's a blunt object and you could use it to fuck someone up with it. Or B, just get your shit from where you walked from or wherever you drove from. That's it. Just 2 options. Either you stay and fend them off. Hopefully you crack their skull open. Okay, you know what, let me stop. Alright. So that's what I would do. What I would do, I would choose A. No, B, actually. I'm not a fighter, so I'm more of a passive person, so I would probably run. So, alright, let's continue.
All of us out. None of us were really the confrontational ones from our group, so we were lacking that one person who would have the confidence to stand up and yell out to whoever was out there. Instead, we all just sat in silence, shushing each other. We heard what seemed to be somebody or something circling us, or at least walking around in a C shape around our little campsite.
Oh my god.
It literally started to feel like we were in the movie The Blair Witch Project.
So what he means by C shape is like, say, they're right here in the middle. Somebody's just going like this, trying to find a good way to like attack them or something. I don't know. If you guys don't play any games, it's called flanking in shooting games. That's what it's called. But obviously this isn't a shooting kind of thing. It's college horror stories. So.
Because these sounds in the near distance, like cracking tree branches and leaves crunching on the ground, kept echoing over to our campsite. We laughed about it at first, but I personally soon became terrified of who or what it could be.
I would too.
Out of the blue, a huge thud made all three of us jump.
Motherfucker.
At first I didn't understand, even though I saw what caused the sound. It took me a few seconds to digest the fact that a branch had been thrown into the center of our little fire site.
Oh my god.
One of my two friends took off running, while my other friend and I sat behind, looking at each other, half laughing, half concerned. I feel like we didn't know yet if this was some kind of joke or not. Then, my friend let out a scream of pain as he was struck in the face by another tree branch. I grabbed the backpack, helped my friend up off the floor, and we hauled ass back in the direction of our dorm. When we made it to the road separating the nature preserve from our dorm, we stopped to catch our breath. But whoever was out there proved to be following us when we heard footsteps coming closer to the road. We continued to run back to the dorm, and when we got back to our floor, we found our other friend in his room already.
See, the downside to that, what I would do, or what not what I would do, it's the mistake with that. If you're gonna run from something, go somewhere else besides where you live or where you hang out most. Because they're gonna know where you are and they're probably gonna come right back. So, it's... You know, I can't lie, I would do the same thing. I would just run back home, so... But I mean, that's what I would do if I was in his shoes. I would go somewhere else besides running back home. And if they follow you and they see you, then they know where you live now, so...
Looked out of his room window down to the woods. There was someone pacing back and forth by the woods, and every time a car passed, they would walk back into the woods. Eventually, whoever it was went back into the woods for good, to never be seen again by us. We continued our drinking session in the dorm room, and within 10 minutes, we were all laughing about it. It wasn't until the next morning that we all realized how terrifying that experience actually was.
And not only that,
we never really went back into the woods past dark after that.
They were drunk, too, so I bet even after the hangover, they probably remembered the shit. They probably still remember, like, oh my god, that was so terrifying. So, okay, there we go. Alright, number 3. So this is going to be the last one after this video.
This takes place during the first week of school, my freshman year at the University of Iowa. I was just starting to get comfortable with my roommate. He was dedicated to the idea of rushing a fraternity, and rush week was starting the next week, but the parties were starting Thursday of the first week. My roommate didn't want to go alone because it would be harder to meet people that way, so he wanted me to go. I happily agreed to go with him.
I can't lie with him. There's gonna be a party going on in college and you're brand new to the school. And I would do the same thing. Since I do have autism, it kind of takes me a long time for me to break out of my shell in order for me to do that. So I know how he feels. Like, there's a party going on, everyone's having a good time. You don't know how to approach it. Like, do you just barge right in and just say, "Who's right?" No, you don't do that. I take that back. You're gonna make yourself look like an idiot. So, but what I would most likely do in that situation, I'll probably just walk in all shy. So, but let's continue.
Even though I had no interest in rushing a fraternity, I still had intentions to go to parties. After all, I was attending a party school. My roommate wanted to go to one frat party on Thursday, and then parties at different frat houses on Friday and Saturday. On this Thursday night, we were headed to perhaps one of the lowest ranked frats. I'm pretty sure it was an underground one too, but his logic in attending was to have a backup frat in case the higher ones wouldn't give him a bid.
Why the fuck do they have an underground party going on in college? I have a friend that goes to college and he has parties like fucking every weekend. Really? Do they not want to get caught? I mean, it's kind of going a bit far, isn't it? Going underground to party? I mean, it's kind of going a bit far, especially in college.
The frat house was really far from campus, in a much more slummy downtown area.
Like
We
Eric
pulled up to a
Towers is
corner
going.
house, and if it weren't for the blasting music and cars parked everywhere, we would never picture this house as a frat house. It literally looked like they settled with the first house they found. We knocked on the door to immediately be greeted by some short, chubby guy in a white t-shirt holding a solo cup. His shirt had sweat stains by his armpits and mid-belly area. He told us to come right in. The party itself was in a horribly dimly lit room with probably 50 guys bunched up into the living room.
Oh my god, no
It
girls?
was hot as hell in there to make it even worse. I think I saw maybe 2 girls at the entire party, neither of them even close to attractive. I gave the party a good 20 minutes, talking with one overweight foreigner after another, all giving off antisocial vibes. Eventually, I waved for my roommate to get ready to leave, but a huge group of guys by the door made us decide to wait a little longer to avoid the awkwardness of leaving early. I continued to drink the cheap beers they were serving. I think I downed 5 cups before I could even feel the buzz.
Oh my god,
A heavy
that's...
guy approached me with a tiny bottle.
You need to drink 5 fucking cups of beer and you finally get buzzed out of that? They must have shitty beer then, I mean... I mean, the beer I know of, I never tried it, but I know of one that gets you, like, as soon as you take 2 sips or 3, it hits you right away. So it's, 5 fucking cups and you finally get buzzed? I mean, really? Okay.
In his hand and handed it to me, smirking and saying, "That'll get you shit-faced." I fake laughed and thanked him, expecting him to go away, but he just watched me as if he were waiting for me to drink it. So, I did.
He's gonna pass
It was
out.
maybe 2 shots worth of some kind of hard liquor. The guy then started making conversation with me, and every time I hinted that I was trying to get away, he would try to pull me further into this otherwise one-sided conversation. Things started to get really blurry pretty soon.
Okay. Look, I'm all for going to parties and everything, having fun. Birthday parties, or whatever the fuck kind of party. But if someone who is chubby, well, not me anyway, because I am kind of chubby, but anyway, the person that you hardly know, probably like 3 minutes of conversation with him and you only know his first name, he goes up to you, gives you 2 shots worth of liquor that he says it'll get you shit-faced, which means it'll hit you fast. What I would do, one, I would say, fuck you, I want to go home, get the hell out of my way, I'll get the drink, throw it at him, no, not at him, most likely in the ground, I don't care, like, this party is just not me, it's not for me. I'll throw the cup on the ground, I'll just, I'll just throw the cup on the ground. I don't care if anyone is staring at me. I would just leave. So, that's just me, though. So.
I remember feeling dizzy all of a sudden, and the room seemed to be getting darker. That was the last thing I remember before waking up in a dark room, laying in a bed.
Took a drink from somebody you don't even know. Started feeling dizzy. Everything was getting blurry. Everything goes dark. You wake up in a pitch black room and you're in a bed. Where is that going to lead to? I want you guys to think. I'll give you a second. Where is that going to lead to? If you answered rape, you are correct, my good sir and ma'am. Woo! You are correct. So, yeah. Or anything. I feel like it will go through that same thing, but anyway, let's...
I could hear the sound of music muffled behind closed doors. so I knew I was still in the frat house.
So you know he's gonna say he's
It was
gonna
a
be
very
chained
dark
up.
room. However, I could still make out certain furniture in the room, and a small closet door. Not much else, though. But even over the blaring music, I heard the sound of a plastic bag being crunched from the closet, as if somebody had stepped on it by mistake. I ran out of that room and down the stairs back to the overcrowded living room. I found my roommate and pushed him out the front door, past the group of guys still standing in a circle right next to it. During the car ride back to campus, I told my roommate I was drugged. He almost called the cops, but I said it would be foolish and pointless. My roommate then asked me an awkward question. Was I taken advantage of? I didn't feel any type of pain, and my clothes were all still on the same, so I assumed not. When I did a time check, I realized I'd only been out for maybe 10 minutes before waking up.
Okay. So, obviously it didn't lead to any molestation or anything, that's good. So, I don't know why the guy did that. I mean, usually when people spike the drink or anything, they do stuff, but I don't know, maybe he wanted the guy to stay there or something. Maybe he wants more company or something, I don't know. Let's just continue.
Whatever the guy gave me must have been a dud or something, thank God. That was my college experience of attending an underground ghetto frat party, and it remains to be my scariest life experience.
Alright, so I'm gonna end it here. I don't want this video to be way too long, so if you guys enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, we greatly appreciate it, and as always, stay classy.